Bro,
What's up, dude?
I always just wanted the music to keep going. We gotta like, bring the tracks back.
I know, right? Start off with a
What's
little
up,
dance
everyone?
party or something.
I know every time I'm back here, I was like, I wasn't even paying attention. I was just in the vibes, like looking at the comments, everyone coming in. What's up, KG? I see Nani in the
KG.
house. Hello. Yeah, Nani. Let's see. KG, what's up? What's up? Who else is in here? You guys, oh, Ruth, what's up? You guys need to put your
Hey,
names
Ruth.
in the comments. You've got these weird names, that we don't know who you are. Nadia, hello, what's up? What's up? Okay, yeah. Hey, what's up, friends? I'm excited about today. Man, he's got something special for us, huh?
Yeah, something new today. So, as you've been noticing, we've been more and more focused on not just helping you build an application, but actually like taking it to the next steps to having a fully fledged business or an app that is generating revenue for you. And we just keep touching on all the things that you need to do to get to that point: marketing, distribution, monetization, and how we're hyper focused here at Replit on making that easier and easier for you. In fact, we have another feature that's dropping later on today that we might actually talk about live on the stream as it drops to that just further emphasizes that point. And so for today, what we want to do is kind of lean into that a little bit more, and let's just kind of challenge ourselves to say, hey, how far can we get on an idea to monetization to something that we can put in front of folks, to something that we can market and distribute to folks. How far can we get on that concept in 2 hours? So we're going to be doing focusing on that, just kind of building on that, jamming on that, me and Rymar. And we're also going to take the opportunity to bring some folks onto the stage. This is a special pro plan perk that we have for folks, that if you're on the pro plan, you're gonna get an option to join us here on stage. So just head over to the Discord and raise your hand if you want to come on stage. And I think we also have another surprise guest that might come on too, that we have backstage for folks as well.
Yeah, and I'm looking. Oh, here, this is what I'm talking about. Manny, I'm gonna share this linky do.
Okay.
Maybe you share that on the screen. But from the X account recently, single prompt, get a website, mobile app, slide deck launch, and plus unlocking perks from Stripe, Atlas, QuickBooks, Mercury, Doula, etc. And so to lean into your point about Replit kind of really honing in on this, like, how do you make money with these things? How do you like take this to the next level? Everyone, I keep going to these events and I keep seeing all these other people and they're all saying they're doing the same thing. And like everyone's just kind of getting lost in this sea of like build the software, do the thing, the artificial intelligence, the what, it's like. And so in this world where everyone's just saying that they're doing the exact same thing, how do you stand out? It's going to start becoming the network effect. Who are your actual users and how are you monetizing it? How are you making the thing real? And so beyond just building, this is all about making it real in the world, right? Having impact, setting yourself free, turning that side gig into like a freelance business, turning your freelance business into an agency, turning your little small idea into some kind of thing that allows you to change the status of your life, change your career trajectory, take your business to the next level. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, software has been a limitation for a long time. And sure, writing and building is easy now, but the folks who are able to kind of take this to the next level are the ones that are going to win the game. And we're all in on that.
And I was at a hackathon recently, and there were a number of people that were telling me that they're building their business on Replit. In fact, we toyed around with the idea of having a local meetup for business owners building on Replit. So maybe something that I host here in the Chicagoland area. And then I was just walking down the street with my Replit gear, and somebody stopped me. They were like visiting from Miami, and they're like, "Hey, you work at Replit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I work at Replit." He's like, "Yeah, I launched 2 businesses on Replit." I'm like, "Okay, let's go." So more and more folks are leveraging Replit to do that. And I think there's a couple of things. One is the integrations that we're rolling out. So like Stripe, Revenue Cat, Square, super easy. Now all these perks here that you're seeing, like being able to tap into Atlas, QuickBooks, Mercury, these tools. And then two, like also the Canvas feature. I was playing around this past week and I was like
Mm,
dropping a couple of tweets on there, dude.
it's
And
getting so
like,
good.
oh my gosh, dude. Here, let me just drop this tweet that went quasi viral for me. So let's see here. Where is this?
By the way, if you're not following Manny on X, his meme game is getting strong.
You're missing some bangers here. Check this one out, dude. Overheard in SF via Samuel. Amjad and team were building the best ever agent sandbox for 9 years. They just didn't know it. I was
Yep.
like, oh dang, that's hot, dude. Samuel dropped it on the live stream. Where is this? I can't even see my notifications. If I go,
You always have a good choice of meme selection, like gift selection when you make these little posts. Like it's fun.
okay, so this is gonna get revealed in just a bit when we drop our new feature. But essentially, I had a concept, an idea, and I built that main application, and then off of that, I built a mobile app, and then I built a launch video. Then I made some social media posts. Then I put together a rewards portal for this. So the idea is like, okay, people shop on my store, and then they go and they get rewards here. I have that as a standalone application, and then I even put together a Q1 sales report based on the data that we're pulling from this source that we're not going to talk about just yet. So I think like as I was doing this, like my mind was just getting blown. Like, oh my gosh, like I can see like having like 10, 15, 20 different assets here, all linked to the same project or business and just having everything in one place and just being able to like just like rip on this. And also Jason Lemkin at Sasser, he has like that's kind of how he started with Replit. He's got a bunch of agents that are running, doing a whole bunch of stuff. He actually started doing this, like just adding a bunch of contacts and projects into one repo or one project. He calls it a mono
Mhm.
repo. And then he's like now agent and he's using agent as his agent on top of all that. And then Replit agent is actually like taking actions, like it serves as his agent. He dropped another, like he had a really good video on this actually that I posted about. So definitely go check this out. So
Yeah,
I feel like we're getting a glimpse of the
it's
future
unreal.
here. It's like what the idea that's coming to mind, like everything that you need for your business is going to be one prompt away. Oh, you got to prep for a board meeting. Boom, drop it into Replit, get a presentation. Oh, you got to like build a new sales funnel for this particular type of event. Boom, drop it into this repo, into this
And it
project,
already
get
has
that
the
out.
context. It already has the connections to your Stripe, to your whatever, to like all these different places. You can customize it based on who's using the app in real time. Um, I mean, if you guys didn't watch Tuesday, we built this cool little CRM and then we had parallel agents. So we just unleashed all the agents in the background, literally just said yes to all the recommended tasks, started throwing different tasks in the background. And by the end, what was it like in the last 15 minutes, we had to just build a mobile app and it built a mobile app version of it for us. And then again, you're in this canvas and you're seeing this stuff. And in a couple hours, you kind of have like home base for whatever it is that you're trying to monetize or build and we were at this Red Bull basement event yesterday. And so many of the people there, I don't have the exact stats, but as I was going around and seeing all the projects, I was like, where did you build this? And so many of them actually built in Replit, and it was like, it's going to just start taking over every hackathon, every like thing like this, every startup. They're just, it's where you need to be, y'all.
This is one other thing that gets me really excited. But you see how I have like different apps here? So I have my main website, and then I also have my rewards portal. So like one, like think about all the different apps that you can have customer facing. So this is a rewards portal, but it can also be like a forum, like where like your customers go and they talk to one another. But it could also be a whole bunch of internal tools. So you might have like different applications, like one for your marketing team, one for your sales team, one for your legal team. So I think they're gonna be like you're gonna have like 10, 20 different things, like both customer facing and internal to turbocharge your business.
Yeah. And imagine this is the worst it's ever going to be. It's like
Ooh.
it's just going to get better.
I was so pumped, dude. I think I was tweeting this like at like yeah, like midnight. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, this Replit is blowing my mind. So more on this. We're gonna drop something on this hopefully live on the stream. Okay, neat. So with that, I think like the idea here is I have a basic idea in terms of what I want to build, and I figure we just kind of go through it. Have Raymmar here as my co-pilot, just kind of guiding me, giving me some tips, and then we're just gonna live build and see where this takes us. And
I'm the
um,
business cynic and design critic. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
oh, dude, the design pro, I
Gotta
love it.
tagline that, right? Okay.
And the goal is to hit a couple of nodes. One, prototype, obviously. So first we're gonna work on an idea, then a prototype. Then we're going to think about monetization, how we're going to price this thing, set up Stripe, and then also then deploy, and then maybe do some testing here, and then also think about marketing and
Yeah.
distribution. How would I get like this in front of folks? So
Yeah, and the whole time we want you all to be letting us know like what is it that you're building? What questions do you have about how to monetize and kind of take your Replit project to the next level? So as Manny's building and as we're kind of exploring these options, business strategist Raymmar is going to be back here fielding questions and kind of like maybe asking Manny questions about what he's doing, his thought process, how he kind of approached this, and hopefully we'll have a real just like good conversation back and forth between not just us, but you all. And then if you're in the Discord, again, like Manny said, we have sent a couple of you links. So if you're in the pros, yeah, just be ready to like maybe pop in when that time comes. So yeah, let's do the
let's jump into this. Okay, so here is the basic idea. So I do a number of live events, hackathons, presentations, and at these events, there's usually a lot of people in the room. So when you go to a networking event, my experience has been that if you're lucky, you're able to connect with maybe like two, three, like really interesting people over the course of 2 hours. And I think that's inefficient. I think there's a better way to do that. So the idea here is there like a faster way for you to automatically connect with the most relevant people at a large event like a hackathon? And I've actually trial tested this concept at a couple of hackathons where we had like maybe 150 people, and I was able to group them really, really fast and get them into some pods that were like they were like-minded individuals and had similar interests. And it was a really fun type of moment and fun demo. So I'm gonna build this out here live with everybody. And then we're just gonna chat with Agent and start like thinking about some ideas in terms of how to implement this. So let me
Yep.
question. So as we're doing that, let me just drop into here and let me just drop some concepts. So what I like to do now is I like to drop into Agent and just kind of like talk free form in terms of what I'm trying to do, why, go into plan mode and just have a conversation with Agent. So let me drop this in and say, all right. Can you help me build an application? The idea is that it's actually very hard to meet people at large events, live events, like 150 people. Hard to meet them. So maybe there's an easy way to group everybody right out of the gate at the beginning of the event, have it fun. So the idea is that I have a mobile-friendly application that different participants from the organization or from the event can get together, and they will fill out a short form, their name, what they're building, their expertise level, what they're interested in, maybe their field, keep it very, very minimal. And then they'll go onto this app on their phone, they'll fill that out. And then I want you to build some sort of mechanism, likely AI driven, that is going to match everybody in this event into pods that optimize for different experience levels, but also similar interests. I want it to be fun, engaging. I also I'm thinking that like there's a moment where like everybody finds out what pod they're in, and then there's a way for them to find each other at this large event where like maybe you have like a custom name for the pod and like a gradient on their phone that pops up so that they can bring up their phone and show it and connect with other folks, and then like they automatically get grouped into their pods in real time. Let's chat about this. Let's tell me the pros and cons of this, and let's come up with a plan. So let's hope that captured it. Okay. All right. So as you see, like, okay, so I'm just like free flowing in here and just dropping that into Agent, and then just gonna try to come up with like a nice basic plan before I start building. What are you thinking, Raymmar?
I think this is just a nice reinforcement to show that like anybody can approach prompting like this. You know, like I talk to a lot of people and they're like, "Well, I don't know how to do my prompt." I'm like, I don't know, just have you tried talking to it?
Right.
So I think a lot of times folks have like an apprehension or they think maybe they're not like ready to start playing with these tools. And as you just saw, Manny stream of consciousness using probably what, whisper flow or some kind of
Y-
dictation tool.
Yep.
Just talk to the machine, put it in plan mode, and say, "Hey, Replit agent, holla at your boy. How do we do this thing?" And look, it's going to come up with a nice little plan. Look, honest risk is going to tell you this, that, the other. And then now it does become up to you, Manny. And this is where like maybe you can share a little bit of your thought process. Like, how do you then take this and kind of hone in on, like what you actually want? And then, obviously that it's kind of cool. The agent now asks you these little questions, kind of like to structure the nuance or the I'm sorry, the feedback here. But yeah, I don't know.
Let me answer this question. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, the cool thing is that you saw that agent is already prompting me for questions. So I'm just like dropping in that initial idea and I'm letting agent guide me by asking questions so that it knows where we're gonna go. So I think this is really cool. So let me just answer this question here. All right. I think it should be mobile friendly web app just because I don't want to have people go through the friction of downloading a mobile app on their phone. Also, right now I'm targeting an MVP, like a minimal
Yeah.
application just to get this out the door and test it. That would be really cool. And then like maybe like on our somewhere on our website, we have an about page that shows people the QR code that they can scan to access the application. The other thing to note here is that I don't want people to sign in necessarily. I want you just to link it to a particular device so they don't have to log in. It's just a one-time type of event, one-time type of instance. So there's no need for any login or anything like that.
Nice. And somebody
Drop
was
that
even
in.
asking about this because can we get a PWA just in case we can't get Google into the apps or into the Google or App Store? So yeah, it's a great way to just ask the agent, like, yeah, of course, you could mobile responsive this or turn it into a PWA as you build. So yeah, you don't have to just build a mobile app.
Another great question from agent. And then like what I do is like not only will I answer the question, but I also try to give as much context that's coming to mind. Again, just free form consciousness here. Like I'm letting agent just kind of like like know everything that I'm thinking. I think that we should have a process where like there's like stage one, people are putting in their information, and then stage two is that an organizer actually like presses like to form the pods event, and then like AI will form the pods and then just queue them up but not reveal it yet. And then there's a stage three where the organizer actually reveals the pods to everybody at the event to create kind of a wow moment. And this will also give us a little bit of buffer because if it takes if it takes AI a while to form the different pods, I won't have people waiting for that. That'll be already queued up, ready to go. Drop that in there.
One, oh yeah, I'm gonna let you get through these. I wanted to make one other point about why the voice tool is so good because you can kind of just like ramble like that. Sometimes when you type, you're like, you just kind of make like a short little whatever, whatever, and it's like, and you type the like slowest thing or the least amount because like your fingers like, I don't want to do this anymore. But when you talk, you can just kind of let it go, you know? And as you saw there, Whisper Flows, like structures it, organizes it for you a little bit, it cleans up a little this, that, the other. And like, so I was actually reading some research on this where like it's actually better to use these long-winded because you just give more context, right? Like you can talk more like you would to a human and then let the AI interpret that into your requirements. So again, Manny's just showing you like this is just very approachable. You just speak to it and you answer the questions and let's go.
And this is this chat mode. This is a newer mode in Replit. Previously, I'd have to go to another AI or an AI assistant like ChatGPT or Claude and do this. And you can still do that. What I like about doing it here is that I don't have to do any copy pasting or anything. Like agent's gonna have all this context, even though we have a final plan, it's gonna have the entire record of like everything that I've said. So if I want to change my mind later, or if I want to add like a to-do list or something like that, agent's still going to have it. And also, I don't have to copy paste something into Replit agent and losing all that context. And there's a lot of value from the stuff that I've just put in there that I might want to save for later. And agent's going to have all of that. So let me answer this question here. So I think here, like, agents asking me about the vibe to start thinking about the design. So like, I don't know, these are just great questions. They just got really good at asking these questions here. Yeah, this is meant to be for a hackathon, startup type of crowd, kind of techie. Um, like kind of fun, like good energy, type of crowd. That said, I think maybe later on I might want to pivot and target more a sort of a corporate offsite type of demographic. So maybe like don't like target that right now, but like maybe have a document somewhere that lists possible ideas or possible angles later on to approach. And, what I like saving that, Rymar, is like if you, think back to our conversation with Elias, what he's building with Dial Moments. So Dial Moments, Elias is this app that is kind of like an audio guest book of sorts. And that is a pretty universal, general type of application. But the smart thing that Elias is doing is that he is hyper focused on one key demographic. Right now, it's brides on their wedding day. And he's just like laser focused on driving attention for that crowd. I really like that approach. I think you got to go very narrow. Just helps you find your audience, helps you with that conversion, and then like just helps you grow. But that said, the nice thing about having all of this in Replit is that later on, if I want to pivot and target a different demographic or different ICP, I can do that pretty straightforwardly. I might even just fork the application and maybe change the branding or like just to fit that demographic a little bit more. There's different things that I can do, but yeah, I want to save that for later to reference if I need it.
Yeah. 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 No, 100%. I want to bring this up because it's a good question here that I think is just like to the root of everything here. One more question from a niche. Oop.
Sorry about that.
Nope, no worries. From a niche platform like mine, built around a workflow I know deeply, how would you think about the right order of priorities between continuing to build, getting the word out, and starting to monetize? Like all at once, like get the easiest. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Get the smallest thing you can to like get out there in the world and validate whether or not someone will pay you for this thing, and then iterate on that, right? Like a lot of people get lost even in a niche thing, even in like in whatever sphere they're in as a builder. Once you get into a tool like Replit, and you start building and you see how easy it is to build features, it's easy to get lost for like weeks at a time. Build more, build more, build more, build more, and you never actually go out and ask anybody, will you buy what I'm building, right? And that's the question you want to ask as early as possible. So your goal should be to get to the thing that you can actually take out to the market and say, hey, will you pay me for this? And then as you get feedback on that is how you start shaping that product. And you still have this big idea that you want to build in the background, but you start prioritizing what to build and how to move based on that market feedback from real users. And that's the real value here.
100%, Rymar. So, like, I'm gonna say something that agrees with you, and then maybe like a
Push
counter.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, just based on some of our recent conversations. So, number one, I think you have to appreciate that the bias for all builders is to stay in the lab working on their idea until they think it's perfect.
Yeah.
That has been the case for like the last 25 years of startup history, and I feel like that lesson has been hard learned by the startup community. So like YC Combinator, they'll tell you like the first thing you have to do is you got to ship it. If it's, if you wait till it's perfect, you ship too late. That is
Yeah.
the YC Combinator approach. And now like everybody in startup land appreciates that. All of you are new to this builder game, to this new startup world. And so all of you are going to automatically have that bias and fall into that trap. And so I think you have to like tell yourself like, okay, like I got to ship this by this date, come hell or high water, even if it's not perfect, I got to put it in front of people and just appreciate that you have that bias to stay in the lab, take or add one more feature. And trust me, we'd love to like replicate. We'd love to stay, have you keep on age and keep building stuff. But I don't, I think that you ultimately want to get monetized and get some growth. And ultimately, I think getting in front of people as soon as possible is best. Counter number two, counter to that is when we had who was it one of the contents challenge winners, and they kind of flipped the script a little bit. They're marketers, they're like social media guys, and what they were doing is they were going on to TikTok and Instagram, and they were just dropping pain points and messages and like different ideas. And the idea, I think it was Brock and or Base, and their app is around like language learning for like certain demographics that are here that are losing their language, and they want to teach their kid their language. And they were just like dropping like different social media posts, and they were waiting for the one to hit. And then when that hit, that was their signal to go build and prototype something early. So they kind of reversed the script a little bit where like they seek out the pain point, seek out the signal, and then like quickly in 3 hours prototype it in Replit, and then boom, like piggyback on that signal, and then just like have everybody flood into that app.
Yeah.
So I like that too. I think that's another like possible mode you can go. Just like use Replit as like a quickly prototyping type of tool.
I think either way, what you're saying is get the signal quickly,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that's important. I will also say there is something to be said about having a little bit of taste and also making sure that you have something that's like not just going to land flat when you go do that. Right. So, like, it's not to say that the first thing that the agent spits out is what you start running out with, like you can take some time to polish it, make it nice. Like it can look good, you don't have to just, um, you know, ship junk, right? Just because you're
Right.
shipping fast, right? Like that's the other thing too, is like you also want to make sure there's got to be a hook, I guess, is also the thing, right?
Yes, yes. Let me just do a quick scan of this so I can
Yeah,
push
where we
this.
at? Oh, tell it
So
to start building.
yeah. Don't forget to start building. Yeah, so what you notice is I got this notice from agent, and I always like to go into view to see the final plan. And I think this is helpful just to take a quick scan. It's probably on target for what we've been talking about, but I think you just don't want to double check it. This is we keep talking about like optimizing your spend on Replit. This is a great way to do it. Just review the plan before agent spends all the time building out your application. Also, I think this is a really good framework for you to come to just to keep in mind in terms of like leveraging for all of your prompts. Like if you notice, agents got the what and the why, it leads with the what and the why. That's like the most important thing. What is the North Star? Cody on our enterprise team keeps talking about that. Like you want to prompt the agent, you want to tell it what is the mission, what is the objective, what is the context. And then I also really like this. What does done look like? At what point am I happy? So listing out those bullet points, and then like also what is out of scope. I think this is pretty helpful as well. And so different steps. Okay, if you want to learn more about this, this is pretty cool. And I think that's good. Yep. Like so let's just go ahead and start building that.
Yeah, and while that's working, girl to girl says here, but if your app doesn't run smoothly, don't people give up on you? Um, yeah, but that's how you shape things. And if you have a good story, people aren't going to give up on you, right? Like this is why we talk about sharing your story and kind of putting some kind of thing behind your brand because people are investing in you, they're interested in you. So if you're solving a real problem and you're actually like genuinely trying to do this, if someone comes and uses your app and it's not perfect, they're not going to give up on you. They're going to give you feedback, and that's how you're going to learn. Right. And so if people do give up on you, and then you can start to understand, like, why are they giving up? Oh, this one thing is really hard. And then you fix that. And so that's exactly why you need real feedback, because in your head, you can make up all sorts of reason why they might do this or they might do that, but you don't know if you don't actually see them do that. And so, yeah, I don't think that's the right mindset. You actually kind of want to run through some people and to get that feedback. And you may win some, you may lose some, but that's kind of part of the process here.
I'll double click on that, Rymar. Like, yes, like if you sell your story, this is why we keep encouraging people. Like, you should put yourself in the content. You should tell your story because people oftentimes are not buying your application, they're buying your story and they're buying into you. So if you personalize it in that way, it's more likely that somebody is going to deal with maybe like not the most polished type of application. So that's number one. Number two is that if you're locked in on their pain point and people see that you're obsessed with solving their problem, they're going to come along with you with the ride. And so
Hmm.
if you frame it like, hey, like I am here to solve it, no one else is going to solve this better for me. Here's my version 1, here's my alpha, let me know what you think. Even if it's at 60%, that person is going to be like, yes, I'm signing up for this ride because this is going to help me and I'm excited about it. So I think you have to do both of those things, and that'll give you a lot of grace with folks.
Yeah, that's why again the story matters and personalizing it matters. That's why we talked about through both of the build-a-thons. That's why we talk about through all of this is like put your face in front of the product, put your story in front of the product, like let people connect with you. Like that's not to say you can't start a faceless brand or that you can't, build some marketing channels that, is not your face, but like there should be some kind of emotional hook or some kind of thing that draws people in. And same kind of line of thinking here. What if your idea is too big to ship small? Like I don't believe that. Like you need to then think about what is the smallest piece you can start to ship with to get to the big idea. building big ideas are hard because it's complex and there's lots of moving parts, and you often need lots of people to make it work at scale. Whereas when you break things down, you can get to small things like what Manny's doing here. You can use this in a small group. Could this scale up? Yeah, you could have a bunch of different groups at a conference using this in different ways. You know?
He had is he would just tell me.
This is another clip from Jason talking about what endeared him to Replit and to Cody on our team. So let me see if I can grab the actual context. I think it refers to this.
And in a world where the software doesn't change for 10 years, I don't ask for a why from sales. I use Salesforce. Listen, Salesforce is changing. I'm excited about it. But for 15 years, it was the same. So you didn't go into your sales and ask your rep a lot of questions about why. Mm-hmm. When I'm buying a journey with Replit, not just how it works today, how it's going to work next quarter, next month, tomorrow. Yeah. And when someone in sales, broadly defined, can tell me the why, I want to work with that vendor.
So I think the key quote there is someone's buying a journey with you. So if you can say here's where I'm going, here's why I want to solve it, and here's why I'm the person to solve it. Here's the journey. Hop on, let's go. People are gonna go on the ride with you.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a look here, see where we are with our build. And then I'll keep a eye on socials to see if we get that drop that I've been referring to. Let's do some breaking news here live on the stream.
I just saw something come through the chat that makes me think it might be out there. I'll pin it. If you looked in the pin chats, Jeff Perkins. So I don't know if it's, I don't want to say what we trying to say, but maybe. I pinned it in the back if you want to see that pinned comment, but I haven't seen on the socials.
Okay, maybe
I'm gonna go. Let me go look. Let me go look at the Replit page real quick. Let me go take a sneaky peeky.
We don't want to get in trouble with marketing. Okay, they give us a lot of rope here on the live stream, so we're very conscious of that.
I know.
Don't pull us. Don't put us on delay.
That's right. Gonna give us an hour delay with somebody in a sensor booth.
Okay, so as that's kicking off, as you're doing that, I'm just gonna drop into another task here, and then just start thinking about another thing that's coming to mind. So the question is gonna be okay, how should I think about monetizing this? So I'm just gonna ask agents to give me some ideas and to help me kind of think of the basic, I guess, plans that I would have for something like this. So it'd be okay, can we do a little bit of research on how I would monetize this application? It is a little bit tricky because it's, how often is an organizer going to have an event like this? How is it going to work? So maybe do some research and help me think of different options that I might consider. Would this be a one-time payment? Would this be a monthly recurring, or is it a per event type of thing? What would be interesting? And then also, I think we need to also think about what would be my overall cost, particularly on the AI side. I don't think it would be much, but just double check that, make sure that I'm not burning a ton of AI tokens when the matching happens. Just something to consider.
Yeah. Asking the agent to think about optimizations as you go, again, not specifically saying optimize my API calls so that my server doesn't, overload, blah, blah, blah. Just, asking, hey, I want to make sure my API tokens don't go through the roof, right? Yeah.
And I'm going to start thinking about marketing too here. So can you help me think about what would be sort of a good pitch here? What's a good story here? What are some of the pain points that this application might target? Or what are some of the key benefits that I want to focus on as I'm trying to market this? One of the pain points that comes to mind is having a cold start to an event. I think that's one of the key things is you have 100 people in the room, they're excited to get going. And it's you start off with slides and presentations. That is super boring. What if you can start off with this really cool application that matches everybody automatically? There's a really nice wow pop moment because everybody's getting matched and they're kind of getting together and they're forming groups and they're chatting. And then what if that's the start of your event? Wouldn't that be cool? And then other, different ideas like that. And then also you can say the other benefit might be to the participants, meet all the relevant people in 150 person event in 10 minutes. That is, I think, a good value prop.
I think another thing to point out what Manny's doing here is he's starting parallel tasks. We did a whole stream on this Tuesday, and what you're watching is each of these is essentially a fork of the project, and it starts working on new things in the background, or it starts thinking about different tasks unrelated to the main thread. So if you see that the top of his UI, the purple agent is kind of doing work, that's the main thread. That's the main version of the site. All these other tasks on the left here, these other little agent movement bubble things that you see, I don't know what they call those icons. We should know what those are. They're like agent status
Sub agent
indicators.
or agents.
Yeah, but these are your sub agents, right? And so Manny in parallel here is just firing off new tasks. Could you open the task board at the bottom left there?
Yes,
just
sir.
to just to kind of quick highlight, we did a deep dive on this Tuesday, but if you open the task board now, what you'll see are the different tasks, and they're color coded based on what's actually working, what's going on. And so you can start to just fire things off. And so if you're on a pro plan inside of Replit, which again, if you're spending $100 a month on the agent, you should be, you can have up to 10 parallel tasks running in the background like this. And when you're trying to move fast and do a bunch of things like Manny's doing here, where he's just like stream of thought, has all these different things he kind of wants to start working on at once, bang, 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 you're just firing them off like that. So just wanted to call out, like, that's super cool. And it's not a thing you can do with other platforms.
And remember, you mentioned this on the live stream on Tuesday. Go rewatch it. That was a really good stream. People really enjoyed that. But you also like made this good point. Like, this is a fork of the point in time instance of this particular application. So
Hmm.
it's best not to work on overlapping features necessarily. So if you notice, I'm not really doing anything that's going to impact this. So I'm trying to avoid any merge conflicts when I ultimately go and like push this back into my main. So just one thing to be mindful of as you're doing this, like it's probably best to like compartmentalize things, and if you can work on separate features that aren't going to give you merge conflicts. Now, agent's going to be able to handle those merge conflicts well. It's just like, like, do you want to like even like go through that? Probably not. Just kind of save you a little bit of a stress and tokens down the line.
Yeah, and I see a bunch of really good questions coming in here. We're going to get to, for sure. So if you've got a question in the background, we've pinned a bunch of these. We're going to get into some of this. And yeah. I don't know how. Like, go ahead, Manny. I want
This
to
is yeah.
let you drive here.
No, thanks for calling this out. I rarely go into this. I got to go into this more, but I'm noticing now that I have the ability just to go in here and drop my
Hmm.
task in here. So like
Correct.
instead of me going and grabbing a new one, maybe I just grab it
Yep.
here. So here's another idea that I had. It's like, can we start thinking about like any cool additional features that we might add that kind of would leave a lasting impression with folks? So like maybe there is the ability for folks to take a photo, a selfie with their pod, and like maybe wrap that in a nice social media post and make that like so that they download it and like it adds their commentary and they can immediately share that and tag the event. I think that would be really cool. One, it's a nice little memento, it's a nice little wow feature, and also it helps the organizers spread the word on their event. Like one of the things that organizers want to see is like just social media get flooded with pictures from their event. This would make it really, really easy for folks just to do that, grab that, upload it immediately to social, and get the word out. Drop that in there.
Yeah, and somebody was asking here, I want to address this. Are the prices going from $20 to 100 in Pro? Replit is a pay-as-you-go platform, and so what you're doing is you're essentially committing to prepay. When you have the core plan, you're committing to prepay for $20 a month worth of like Replit agent usage. When you jump to the Pro plan, you're basically committing to say, hey, I'm committing to $100 a month of Replit usage. And so you're not really paying for the platform per se. Your prices aren't going. You're basically just saying I'm going to spend or I'm going to use up to this amount. And if you're already spending in that $100 range, you should go for Pro because you get access to the top models and the parallel agents, up to 10 parallel agents, like Manny's showing here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think if you're spending like 80 bucks, yeah, just go for the pro plan. Also, underappreciated, there's an option for you to pre buy credits in advance. So we have a number of folks that are spending well over $100. They're spending $1,000 per month. And so you can buy a credit pack in advance and get a discount on those credits into the future. So consider that too. I know there's going to be a number of folks that are spending well over $100 here in Replit. So that's don't overlook that. And I would encourage you to go back to your task every so often because you're gonna have questions like this that the agent is waiting for you on, and you might also have to approve a plan as well. So let's answer this question: which monetization direction should I work on the plan? Okay, so let's read some of the context here. It's a little bit bigger. Like, okay, so cool. So here is um, some different options here. Okay, so as you can see, got some good context here. Output is capped. Okay, no real swing task. Episodic. The buyer is an organizer. Okay, fall into one-off casual professional recruiter. Per event, per use, price by attendee. Okay. Oh, free up to 20 people. That's actually kind of an interesting concept. I hadn't thought about that. There should be a freemium option, like 20
Yeah.
people at your like like your company offsite just to get a flavor. And then like when you do the big event, that's when I hit you with the bill.
Yeah, I think that's good anyway too, because like small groups aren't going to have the budget. Like, small groups, small meetups probably won't have the budget to pay for this because they're mostly self-organized. But if you have groups bigger than a certain point, you're getting into larger groups that may have, bigger budgets, or you're getting into companies or organizations that, again, might have some dollars for this. So that's a great, when you think about the monetization plan, you have to think about that type of thing, not just say what fits my pocketbook or what would be like the best thing, because you can put whatever price you want on something and be like, look how much money I'm going to make. But you have to think about, how is my user, how is the end, result of this? Like, how do they want to spend money for this product? How are they most willing to like actually invest in using this tool that I'm building?
Yeah, and that's again a great call out about me just talking to agent and letting agent kind of help me guide this. And here's a recommendation from agent. I think this is pretty good. Like, yeah, a hybrid approach, a freemium model with the per event attendee tiered.
Mhm.
So I actually like this with an annual organizer pro plan for recurrent professionals. I think I'll say like I can just okay, so let me just add a comment here. So I don't think I have to I okay, cool. So let's do that. And let's just say like I really like this idea. The freemium model actually works really well because I think it would give people a sample of the application, and then when they have like a massive event, like 1,000 people, that's when I'm gonna like really make my money. So I really like the freemium approach. The per event attendee tiered option looks good as well. I guess I'm wondering, like, for this minimal viable product, do we really need an organizer pro plan? It seems like it's added complexity. I just want to keep it as simple as possible. I think just the freemium approach and the per event attendee tiered approach would work. What do you think? Just drop that in there. And then let's go check on our other agents. Dude, this is the skill that you're gonna have to master, everybody. McKaylee, I think he was the first one out of the gate to mention this, but it was like 6 months ago at a conference, and he said like everybody now is a manager of agents, and that this is a new skill. This is a new way to work. Right now, I think it's four agents that you're going to manage, but pretty soon you're going to have 100 agents to manage, and then pretty soon those agents are going to have other agents to manage. It's going to get really wild fast. So I think just kind of getting in this mode, thinking about delegating tasks, submitting tasks to different agents, coming back, checking in on them, and just kind of jumping back and forth, I think is really helpful. I really like this too because it keeps me from jumping on social media after I drop a prompt into agent, right? Like, when it's just one agent that you're working with, you put something in, and you're just waiting and like, okay, let me go check my X, let me go check my LinkedIn, and then you come back 30 minutes later and you've lost time. So if you notice, like, I have no inclination here to go anywhere. I'm just like jumping around and like talking to all these agents, just kind of continuing like that in the zone or flow type of state work.
This is the flow work. This is the new zone.
The agent flow zone. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so this one is icebreaker. Okay, cool. Love this direction. Two strong angles, status quo, pain, 150 room buzzing, pod match moment. Wow. Okay. Two value props. Organizer, turn your code open. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So this is the task around marketing concepts. So if you notice, there's like really no follow up. It's just like agent doing work for me. So it's another thing you can use agent to do some work on for you as well. So let me actually create another task here and
Another
say
one.
another task,
we need a soundboard. Another one.
another one, and another one. Can Whoops. And another one. I recorded another one. Careful with that. I know some people have a step that they have connected to their whisper flow.
I've
So you
seen
just
it.
like you
I
step
basically oh, by the way, I have a pedal.
a
I
paddle,
don't
that's
have
what it
it
is.
set up, but in my old studio at the house, you guys saw I tore down my setup. But I do have a pedal. I didn't have it connected, but it's basically like one of those Stream Deck, and it's for the I was using it for a prompter. Again, I don't have the prompter set up, but like I had an Elgato prompter that I would like be able to look at the cam and whatever. But yeah, people are finding all sorts of little hacks and efficiencies for this. Yeah, you gotta just find ways to move faster. You gotta 10x your output here. You got to 10x that and then double that, and you got to like have 3 days that start in the morning, and so that my first day starts from 6 to 12. What's the guy say? And then I'm having my second day from noon to 6, and then after dinner I'm having my third day from 6 to 12. So while you have one day, I've already had 3 days, and that's how I'm maximizing my AI. Anyway, I'm spoofing some online thing if you're not in the zeitgeist, but just kind of making fun of this little maxi culture that we got going on right now. But it's kind of true. Things are moving really, really fast right now, if you're not.
Absolutely, dude. Agent
Yeah.
Maxon. I dropped another prompt in here. Again, like I'm using agent as researcher. So like go do some research, find out if there are any similar products, tell me about their value prop. The other thing that I always am mindful of is how am I going to find my potential users? I think I really love to think about this early on because I think it shapes your positioning. It also starts thinking like where should you go and start, being maybe having a little bit more presence. But the key thing is like you want to make it as easy as possible for you to find your ICP or for your ICP to find you. This is why like what Elias is doing with dial moments is so key because like his target user is finding him because he's like so hyper focused on them. So I'm just again, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I'm just gonna ask agent to help me out with this. Can you help me think about like how, what's an efficient way to start looking for potential ICPs or target users for this particular application? Like, I know, is there like some like database that we can scrape, or is there some sort of events application that we can start looking at, or like do we build like a scraper for X or LinkedIn to look for events? Because it would be cool for me to see like if someone's having an event nearby and I can message them and say like, hey, like this is like a really cool application that I'm building. I'll give it to you for free to try out, and then like start like getting some early users and getting some feedback on my application. So maybe you can do some research on this.
Yeah, and again, I want to just point out, like, going to the agent as like a creative sidekick, as a business consultant, as a strategist, especially as it has the context of the project and what you're trying to accomplish and all these other threads and in kind of in memory here. And so yeah, this is it's just a good use case, and I see more and more people going to this type of thing, right? Like it is your creative assistant, it is your sidekick, it is the thing that's just there to always kind of help shape and guide, especially as you start building your business assets into this. We don't have Stripe connected to this. I think, Manny, that's probably like, or what? How are you gonna like? You gonna Stripe? Is that what you're planning on putting on this thing?
hmm
Great.
So actually, it's a good question. Let me see. Monetization plan. Okay, cool. So let me start building that out and let me just do a revision and say I want okay, payments go through Stripe. Oh, it's automatically doing it.
Hey, and hang on right there for 1 second. Go down because so you can see. So just so people know, it created this task for you. Maybe view that task. I know you showed that to people before, but then also go underneath there where it says the power mode. Before you start building, you can then change the power mode of that task. So let's say
Oh.
you want to make an adjustment, you want to turn off the testing, you want to drop turbo on something. You can adjust that as you go. You can also click the revise or cancel the task at this point too. So if you're exploring something, you decide, hey, I want to change this plan, or hey, I want to cancel this plan. You can do that from here as well. There's also a setting, one more at the top. Manny, that little drop down of the thread, at the top of the agent thread. Yeah, where it has, yeah, there. So you can kind of click approve, and then once this is working, you can kind of click the auto merge changes so that it'll kind of like automatically merge into the project. So there's
Mm,
some things you can do as you're working with the tasks that you can kind of like let the agent do its thing automatically without you having to check. So, again, you can give the agent a little bit more autonomy, a little less autonomy, depending on how you like to work.
mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay, so here is my per event tier plan. Again, I love this framework. I think also I just think this is a good framework when you're working with others. If you're managing or delegating to folks, this is the framework you should be using. Like when you give someone a task, like give them this framework.
This
Um,
this comes from actual development flows. Like if you've worked with a good development team, they require this for every feature you want in the app. They want a user story, they want a definition of what you're doing, they want a definition of what done looks like, and then obviously they're going to kind of get the resources or whatever. But yeah, this framing is very useful because again, maybe you've heard some of the new models talk about goals. You're basically setting a goal for the AI. You're kind of telling it, this is where we're headed, and so now it has a benchmark to test against rather than some obscure prompt, which is just like a real simple thing that you might have put in. And so this is why planning your tasks out and creating these task plans is very good. And again, as you can see on the left side, you've got all these different parallel tasks running at once in the agent in the background.
One other task I want to drop in here. Incidentally, one feature that I would love, I'll pass on to the team. I would love to be able to group tasks because as you notice, I have
Mm.
tasks that are they're monetization related, they're like more research related. So maybe down the line we can like group them so it just kind of helps me stay organized. But here's another thing that's coming to mind too. So again, as you're getting the ideas, instead of writing it down, just drop a new task and just drop it in there. It's the best way to save this stuff. You can also just have it in context. But here's another thing that you got to look out for. Okay, so this is I think we're making good progress on this. I think I'd like to start thinking about testing and how I would test this functionality at scale. So the problem with testing right now is that I'm just going to be able to test maybe like on 3 devices locally, but this is I need to make sure that this works up to say like 200 people. So maybe we can add some testing functionality that allows me to mimic or simulate having 200 people on this application and go into the workflow. So maybe think about how we might do this so that the context for this. I don't want to be surprised when I show up to an event. Like I don't want things to fail when there's 200 people on this application. So help me think about this.
Yeah, and you haven't published a version of this yet, right?
Have not. Nope. So let's go back here.
Have we published or tested or looked at what
We have not. Okay.
maybe we need to jump in and see what happening.
Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that. Oh, okay, cool. All right. So let's see. Maybe.
You want to send me a dev link or something?
Yup. Drop that in the chat here.
And we got some folks brewing in the background. So maybe at some point we're going to pull up some of the folks and have a little discussion, have a little
Can you
community
believe it's been an
banter.
hour already? That's crazy, dude.
I could believe that we could just sit here all day and do this and people would tune in and watch and like we could literally just build businesses live all day. Like
There's
I'm future casting, but yes.
Infinite possibility, dude. The tweet that I was gonna drop last night is like this something to the effect of like we're about to experience an entrepreneur boom, the likes of which we've never seen. We're already seeing early percolations of this. The founder of Stripe, Colin, what's his name? Ah, shoot. And Amjad had an interview, and Colin said that new business creation 2x over the last year. And my sense is that because you have tools like Replit that make it so easy for you to just to kickstart an idea in a business, I think you just when we're very early on that, I think the next 5 years is going to be like a boom time for entrepreneurs, man. So to your point, Raymmar, I think and then I have so many ideas. Like we have so many ideas, so much to jam on. I think we could sit here for hours and just do this. It's so much fun.
Yeah. So I created a room on my end and I just shared a link in the private chat. Let's see if people people jump in here. Oh, nice screen display. I can show largely. How do I close out of that though?
Okay, so I just got
I just
your.
grab the URL that and maybe jump into the room I created.
I got it here. I just
Oh, it's asking you for a.
Manny B.
It's interesting. It didn't ask me for any of that to create a room. Oh,
Because
one
you created the room.
interesting. All right, so somebody has joined or is trying to join. I'm
She's
in.
kind of flickering a
Visitors
little bit.
in the house. Where is it? We have not shared publicly this link. We're just sharing this and got to be. Oh, let me drop it in the pro channel.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we're going to start doing a lot more of that, by the way. We're going to start doing a lot more pro perks. I don't know what we're going to call them officially, but pro perks seems like the right thing. And just opportunities to kind of get involved in different ways. I see different people joining in the background, fan favorites.
Ooh.
Uh,
Star-studded cast today. So on your end, what do you see? Do you see like the people
I
coming
see
in?
2 people joined, but I don't see any people. I can share my screen.
Yeah.
I can share my screen. Let me see and share this. I'll share entire screen there. Let me do this. Oop, that's not what I want. I want to pull this out. So this is what I'm seeing is stage control. I see 2 people have joined. Let me go full screen on that. Let's see. Ops all. So top interest.
Do we want to try to form the pods or we're gonna wait for folks?
Should we give one more? Or should we just click? Should I just click it?
Just click it and see what happens, dude.
Just gonna send it.
Okay, then I'm gonna see how.
Pods are ready. Reveal pods. Pods are live. Participants can now see their group and color. So there's one pod. What's happening on your end? Now I can't see because I'm sharing my screen. Let me.
Yeah, I got it. No, you can stay on there. Look at me, dude.
Oh, nice.
So I got my pod AI Ops with Kaiser.
Kizzer.
Jeez, Louise. We just talked about this. Kaiser. Sorry, dude. Kaiser. Okay, this is cool. All right. So, dude, you know, it's not perfect, but it's functional. One prompt. It was one prompt, dude. This is why. And so the idea here. So let me share this part. Okay, so let me show you.
And then what's the goal to have happen here? Like, what's the like? It would this would just connect us, or what's the next? Like, what would be the thing?
Perfect. Let me show you that now. Okay, so this is what I did at an event. Okay, so at this point I've revealed the pods, and then everybody gets a different gradient. I probably would change the gradient to make it a little bit more visible, and they get a particular name, and then they'll raise their app and they'll try to find one another, and it creates this really wild emoji. So, yeah, can we have a question over there as well? Can we do that? Yeah. All right.
We had a question from the guy in the tan shirt over there.
Okay.
I kind of gave him a pause.
Yeah. We got. So, dude, like, you know, having this at the beginning of your event, it created so much energy, dude, and people are moving, they're connecting. We actually had to like force them to go back to their seats. They didn't want to they didn't want to break away from their pods, dude. So here like they're like meeting folks, like they're getting together. Like you see here they're chatting, they're connecting. So this is the first step. I think this is like my MVP. This is my minimal viable product. This is what I'll go to market with. And then as you saw earlier, I was just dropping in different tasks and like thinking about like what other things I might add on. But if I can capture this at an event, this would be, I think, like amazing for event organizers. Just to
and this is the future of experiences. We talk about this all the time. Is how are you blending technology? How are you blending community? How are you like doing real world events, but still leveraging the digital side of things? And so like now you've got an opportunity. Let's say people sign up at the end. Maybe you let people connect. Maybe they put their WhatsApp number on here. Maybe they put some of their contact info. Next thing you know, people are like actually like building bonds that they can opt into take these relationships out into the real world. And so like these are the types of things that again people will pay for. Maybe that's the pro feature, Manny, right? Like maybe if you want to like connect with people, you can pay to like let people really connect or actually like hook up, link up with other people.
Whoa, 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 dude.
It's a
That's
different type of, but hey, there might be a market for that too.
that's the $500 a month plan,
That's
baby.
the Villages, Florida version of this.
Let's go, dude. Okay. I like where your head is at, dude. Let me just go back here before I lose that thought. Okay. Again, Reimer had like a great idea. Again, before you lose it, man, just drop it in a task to save it. It would be really cool to have a pro feature where like people are able to connect with each other after the event. So they get like an automatic like, email with everybody in their group and like a different connection, like maybe a summary of their event. And that'd be like a nice little perk so we start charging the participants. So maybe like what are other ideas that we have that we might start charging the participants so we make money on both sides, both from the organizer and from the participant side?
Well, here's what I also think is like, could I sell a sponsorship to this and let somebody sponsor the event? I sell a sponsorship for $500 to this thing, and now they can send a blast to everybody who was at the event, or they get like to be able to send a ping or let people opt in. And now I offload the cost not to my user group, but to some, let's say the co-working space that I hosted the event at, or whatever it is, right? And so now I open up a bigger line item for potential revenue on something like this.
Damn, dude, that's freaking fire, man. Is the bullhorn back?
Hey.
Damn, that's fire, bro. Okay. We also need a sponsorship option because what if we want to offload the cost from the organizers to a sponsor? And so think about this, how we might implement this, and also what would the sponsors get? Maybe they get access to all the participants, they get the email blast them or something, or maybe if they have their logo presented like sponsored by this company. If you want to learn more, go check it out. I think that would be really, really helpful. Very like that'd be a great growth tactic.
Yeah, and I'm dropping some of our guests into the backstage. Maybe we go and get a little bit of crowd
Let's
thoughts from the mix, huh?
Let's do it, dude. Woo, man. But you can see how I could be here for hours. Let's bring some folks on stage and then we'll come back and I want to just trial test so let's just recap where we are right now and then we'll bring the guests and like what would be next here. Okay, so we had an initial idea and you saw me like bring that idea to life, just prompting agent, starting different tasks. You saw I'm thinking about marketing, monetization. You saw how me and Rymar are able to riff. If I added Rymar to this project, he'd actually be able to go in and just create a task himself. And like you can see, like multiple people riffing on this. So we've got a working functional prototype. There's like that wow moment. I think it's there. It needs a little refinement on the UI and the design. The purple gradient's not so great, but it's functional. And that was just one prompt. Agent worked for 20 minutes and cost me like $8, I thought, for that initial prompt. Pretty good. And then so I already have like some marketing ideas, and like I have agent doing some research in terms of where I'm going to find these folks. I'm also having a task that's going to build out the monetization. So as you can see, all these things are coming together where like I think like in 12 hours, just like refining this, I can have something that I can ship and start putting in front of people right in time for the weekend.
Bro, I was at this Red Bull basement thing, I think they called it yesterday, which was super cool to see all these different ideas kind of come together. And it's funny, I ran into, it was like a 50-50 mix. I was asking people about their projects. I was looking at what people are building. And a bunch of them were like, oh yeah, I built this on Replit. I built the prototype on Replit. And I was like, good for you. Got some dads. Like they had real working versions of the thing right there. So many of them were it's stuck in this like prototype. Let me just show you a video. Like somebody showed me like this nested video in a phone. And I was like, why didn't you just build this? And somebody was like building an app that was basically the thing that won the Build-a-thon, the sign language learning app. I can't remember the exact name of it. But if you go to the Build-a-thons page and click the winners, and it was like the app she had already built, they were like trying to get funding to build. And I'm like, you could build this now, and I like pulled out my laptop and I'm like, do you want me to show you? And like, we didn't actually get into it because, Wi-Fi wasn't set up and like whatever. But it was like one of those things where it's like, you can now just build this type of thing in real time. You shouldn't be sitting around waiting to go get funding or to like, go join some group and pretend like, you're going to wait for a developer to do this for you. Like start now. start building your own thing. And then again, as you build it, like Manny's saying, like here we are an hour in, you got MVP, you got something that starts to work. Just then get it out into the world and iterate. And maybe it takes you a week from now, maybe it takes you a month from now, whatever it is, you might need to spend some extra bucks and some time refining it, but at least you're in the real world with something viable rather than like an idea, right? The idea is no longer good enough to take out into the world and sell. You actually have to have a thing that you can show people. And theoretically, you already have a couple paying customers because you've gone through this process already.
Hmm. And folks, I think, honestly, Raymmar, I think the issue is that we've just shifted the environment so much over the last 6 months that people are still in this mind where like code is scarce and code is expensive, where like they think they need funding. They think they need a technical co-founder. Remember that used to be the case? If you were like an ideas guy, you needed to find a technical co-founder. He's going to take 60% equity and then like maybe give you like a crappy product. And we're no longer in that world. We're in a world where you can ship something in 3 hours and get it in front of people and maybe even earn your dollar in 3 hours. Maybe that should be one of our next build-a-thon is like earn your dollar in 24 hours. Like go and get it. That's the new mindset you got to be in. You got to ship it. You got to build it. And I think many people are still stuck in that idea. And I think, we're just going to have to like,
What I
enlighten
heard
folks.
what I heard recently, instead of like just a technical co-founder, is that you still need two people for a successful startup, I think. And one is the visionary and the other is the integrator. And those are rarely the same role, right? Like you need someone who's kind of high level, understanding the vision, kind of like really figuring out like this is the person with the deep industry knowledge. And then you need the operator person that might help you, or the integrator that might actually help you build the systems, or whether that's build out the prototypes, and you guys are both working inside of Replit. But maybe this person is more operational. Maybe this person is more focused on the money strategy. Maybe this person is more about implementing, into the social strategies or marketing tools or automations or back-end systems, right? And so it's very rare that one person is both of those at an excellent level. But now you don't have that technical hurdle where you have to like go get, like Manny said, a super technical co-founder. That's not to say that at some point you don't need somebody that's more technical to kind of help you get to the scale. But in these early moments, like you don't necessarily need that. And this is maybe a good time to go. Should we open this to the backstage here and just like see what the folks are
Let's do it.
let's just
Let's
do it. Let's
do it.
bring in let's just bring the folks in. What's up, everyone?
Whoa,
Hey,
let's go. What's up, everybody?
we're getting
Dang,
some
somebody's
real
in a
serious feedback from
Who's in a
somebody.
helicopter? Who's in a helicopter over there flying over wherever?
Yeah, let's do one more thing here. Let's customize and turn the names on.
Yes.
I think Tan, I think we got some serious noise coming from you. Yeah, we got some serious background noise coming from Tan.
Got that fan on super high. Tan.
Yeah.
Tan's got the fan on.
What's up? We got Ruth, Tasha, Kizzer. What are you guys thinking? Hunter,
Hot
what happened?
takes. Yeah, what's coming to mind? Keezer, you dropped a really good comment here, dude. This idea of, we don't live in a world where code is scarce anymore. We live in the era of disposable code. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Honestly, I feel like you can build an application so quickly now, right? It takes about 5 to 20 minutes for a really simple use case, up to maybe 3 hours to a couple days for much more complex use cases. But if you have a simple, very niche use case that you would have never had the capacity to build an application for, you can now just prompt it into existence, and then a couple minutes later have a tool that you can use. And the thing is, it only costs you $5 or $10, so you don't feel this massive burn where you're like, hey, I wasted 3 weeks of time and I wasted thousands of dollars. I need to use this tool over and over again. You can honestly just use it once or twice and be like, hey, this saved me $1,000 and 7 hours of my time, and it cost me $5.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a business owner or a small entrepreneur, you'll learn to take those trades over and over again, in my opinion. And so I really do believe we're in the era of disposable code.
Well, and let's not I agree with you 100%. But let's not minimize some of the cost potential here, because I think once you find your thread, you can then start to invest significantly in building these things over time. I think, Kizzer, what you're saying is that as you experiment, as you try things early on, it's okay to not be super married to the output of this and spend, the dollars to like send a prompt. Okay, maybe we throw that away. Try like Manny, to Manny's point, what we got to here in an hour, where maybe you spent $8, $10. Okay, we throw that away, right? $15. Okay, like it's like an hour's worth of work, maybe. It's like you don't have to be married to like, hey, I spent $200 or $300 with a developer. Now I'm like, we're invested in some code here. Right. And so I think that's the point. But then once you find the thread that works, you should be willing to kind of go and put some bucks behind that. Ruth, I'd be interested in your thoughts on that, because I know you've invested heavily in kind of building out deep ideas like that, which can then generate some costs for folks, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, I take it a little bit beyond the pale. Actually, I should probably dial it back a bit. But yeah, no. One thing I think is really important is that if you're the founder, if you're the person who came up with the idea, you're probably the perfect person to implement it, because you really care about it and you care about the details. And I used to work with programmers, and it's very hard to transmit the idea fully to them so that they can actually make it come to life in the way that you want. And they inevitably don't really care about it as much as you. And as a graphic designer as well, like absolutely never implement your UX design in the way that you imagined it. So I think there's a real leveling up for, I need to drink some water, I think. There's some real leveling up that comes from the founder, but also being the coder. Like it really makes a hell of a difference to the project.
Well, and that translation layer has always been the hardest part, right? Is like getting that idea out of your head into the developer's like code box in a way that actually lives up to your vision. And so now we're in this phase where like, you can actually be the one that does that. You don't need the translator. So Tasha, I saw you nodding your head. What say you here on that?
Well, I'm, chief of complicated projects according to my husband that I always use, right? So to be able to do it myself and to get it out is good, but I also know that I may need someone with a little more expertise, because some of them start to get a little in depth. But to see it and to be able to flesh out at least the bones of it, I think can help anybody that I add on in the future to take it further versus if I weren't able to get this far at all.
Yeah.
Kizzer Kizzer. Did I get it right now?
Kizzer.
Jeez Louise. I needed that for this, dude. So I think to your point, I think you're making a great point. Like, now we're live in an era like there's permissionless building, I would call it. So you don't need permission. You don't need a technical co-founder. You just go and build. That's one thing that people are still getting adjusted to. I think the other mindset that people need to start shifting into is this idea that we live in the world of asymmetric returns. So what does that mean? That means that, if you thought, an investment would pay you out in an incremental basis, you put in 1 unit of work, you get one payoff. That's linear type of returns. But asymmetric nonlinear returns is that you can invest in 100 different projects and you only need one of them to pay off. This is the VC world, right? The VCs will invest in like 500 startups, and they'll probably lose money on all of them except one, which is going to be Facebook, or Anthropic, and that one win is going to cover the cost for all the other 499 startups that failed. And so I think that's another thing that we have to keep in mind is like, you just need one of these to hit. So if you're cycling through these, if you've got 10, 15, 20 apps, and you just keep going at that 20th one is going to be the one that's going to pay for everything. And so what I like about Replit is just that it allows you to cycle through those quicker as well. So that's the other thing that you want to do. You want to get through those 20 reps or attempts as fast as possible. And you just saw me do that in like 2 hours. That's one rep.
And to clarify just a little bit, those reps can all be around the same big idea. Earlier, somebody said, what if I have this big idea and I can't ship it? Well, break it up into small chunks and ship one idea, 2 ideas, 3 ideas, and they all point back to this core, right? Or you could have a big project that's your central hub, And then you're building all these little micro things that point back to that let you hit different verticals or let you like target different audiences or kind of experiment with feature sets that you don't want to bloat your main project with to see like, hey, what's going to work out. And then as you find those threads, you build them into your main hub, and then you start expanding these tentacles. And it allows you to just like really open up how you approach the market and then the type of audiences you can attract. And then if something fails, well, you just burn it and it never exists again. Like it's just over and the internet forgets about that. And like you start a new thing. And so like Manny's saying, you can take all these swings at it. And over time, people are like, oh, look at this super successful person, but they don't see the 50 or 100 failed experiments that led to you finding the traction to get to that next space.
Can I add to that? That's exactly what I'm doing. I've made so many apps, but like I'm just taking the swings, and I'm really having a lot of fun doing it. And they're small experiments, and when I get a lot of kind of positive feedback and more users, I kind of double down on it and spend more time working on it. But you kind of let your audience tell you what's valuable. And I'm totally cool with the idea that a lot of these projects might not exist a year from now. It really depends on how well received they are, and that guides the process.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Is there an app that's done particularly well for you, Ruth?
The one that's doing best for me at the minute is Sonic Star, and that's like almost like a Spotify app, funnily enough, music. But yeah, one that people do really like is that one I talked about months ago with you guys, which is Brandcaster. People do really seem to like that one because you just point it at your website, maybe give it your logo and a couple of other things, and it will go away and produce a whole slew of social media ads for you. And it's so instant, and the quality is so high now that it's actually very compelling. Makes sense financially,
Hey, Manny, do we want to go check on the agent and then we'll come back and see what Tan's got to say? And Hunter tried to join back in the back, so yeah, we'll come back and we'll come back to our panel of pro guests in the background here. Let's just check back in on what the agent's doing here.
The goats, as somebody put it. Okay, let's check in here. I haven't checked in on my test. Okay, so these are all okay, so I'm waiting for input. What am I waiting on? Pay reply. Okay, so let's see here. What is the final pass? All right.
And if you're just joining us, what we're doing here, Manny's got an app that he's building that is for matching folks at events, creating little pods and helping kind of connect people inside of an event across like different interests. And so we have gone through the process of prompting the agent to build the app. We just did a small test. Manny, some people were saying that it looks like you need to debounce your form elements. I think you were saying as you're typing the inputs. So that's why not as many people were able to join our last test. So maybe if you could, go have it clean up the form so that it debounces the inputs and doesn't refresh the page after every keystroke. I think it's what's happening. We can maybe do another test live with this. And then Manny also prompted the agent about monetization strategies, about go-to-market strategies, about different features, and all sorts of stuff. So all those little nodes that you see on the left of the screen there are different tasks that Manny has queued up in drafts or in some type of different state. And then you can see a task board here. So maybe we should just fire some of those things off and see if we get the agent kind of like, get into the next step. And then I think we got to try to figure out how to get Stripe on this thing too, huh?
Totally. Yes. Okay. So here's my main agent. Agent worked on this for 20 minutes, cost me $10, but in one prompt, man, can you believe how good agent has gotten in the last 6 months, dude? How much time would this have taken us? Like 6 months ago? It's crazy. Okay. So what I did see here, this is what I got a little confused by, but this is actually pretty cool. So I'm in the main version now, and it's got now this golden hue that says like, hey, you have a task that's waiting for input. So go to that task and complete your input here. So now in this task, I asked it to do some research in terms of what are my best monetization strategies. And then we came on some agreement, me and agent, on what the right approach was for that. And so now it's asking me to proceed with Stripe And let's see if this is still active. It
Yep.
should pull it up and like give
Well,
me a mode to sign into
and I
Stripe.
want to point out a couple things what just happened here. You see it was gray, that was in draft mode, now it's in blue, and you see the little gradient around the screen there, around the agent and the preview box. So for those of you who are watching, this is just an indicator that now the agent started working, right? And as you switch through, like maybe go to another draft, like go to that sponsored option below or one of the other tasks, like click on the left there. You see how it goes to gray, that little subtle shadow? So again, this is just another little anchor. If you go back to that active task, like on the task board, like click on the open the task board at the bottom there. And then you'll see the blue task. So click on that. And then you'll see the little blue shadow pop up again. Right. And so these are just little visual clues about what's working, where you're at. You can see a different little border because I'm inside of a nested task here. Again, we did a deep dive this past Tuesday. If you go to the live stream channel, the YouTube, all of these are always recorded. They're always here for you to go back and kind of replay. And so Manny is really taking advantage of these parallel tasks here, which we explained deeply on the stream Tuesday, which is where you can have kind of multiple streams of thoughts and multiple agents kind of working in parallel to move faster inside of your project here. So what he just did was kind of told the task, hey, let's go ahead and start this Stripe, paid peer per event tiered paywall. Sorry, that was a little bit of a tongue twister. And now you're watching kind of the task move across the board here, right? And so what's next, Manny?
Okay, so I'm gonna go through some of these tasks and see which ones I care about the most and which ones I want to keep moving because I want an agent to be working on this. These are just options, but let's see here. This is monetization for event features. Okay, that's interesting. But the one that I actually care about is the simulating large groups. So let me just go back here and say, how do you want to run it? Let's do simulate attendees button for the host. That's fine. Let's just do that. What do you want to test it again? Just my local environment, both local. Yep. And then during the simulation, should the pod matching use real AI? Yes, use real AI for testing. Anything else? Nope. That's good. Okay, cool. So now I'll go back to my task board, and this should move into the active spot here as it starts working on
Yeah, and
that.
you'll even see it start moving on the left. So it's still gray, but it's moving. You can see that now those 4 dots are like spinning around and cycling. It may ask you to start building. It may confirm. So yeah, but again, look for these little visual indicators, right? Like this is all kind of just telling you and showing you here's what's going on. Here's where the action is. The agent will prompt you at the bottom of the prompt box like this. And so anytime you're thinking, planning, talking through with the agent, especially in these new tasks, this is again just a good way to start thinking in parallel. You can overwhelm yourself with this, so just be careful. You can kind of like have a lot of stuff, and so especially as you're trying to do a live stream and teach people as you're going. But as you're doing this, you'll get more and more used to like thinking like this in parallel and kind of setting up the next layer of tasks, that can be happening in the background while you're building, even still in the main thread. There you go. Now you told it to build. Now it goes blue. Now you can see the little subtle blue indicator around the edge. When it's green, it'll be ready for you, and so it'll show you a different color there. So yeah.
I forget which one is this one here. See, I want to cool. Okay, a pro feature. Okay, cool. I can skip this for now. The one that I really want to make sure we get is the monetization one. So let me just make sure I have that. So okay, so we're working on that. Yeah, per event tier. This is my priority right now. It also would be nice to star these tasks, so I know which are like my highest priority. So this is the one that I really want to get to. This is the one that we need to fix for testing. This is the one that I also want to do. So start building this. And then again, this should move into the active stage. Bam.
Right.
And so I think, what is agent maxing? What is task maxing? I think if you have 25 drafts and maybe 9 active agents going at once, I think you can go have a good lunch, go work out and say, hey, I am agent maxing. I'm good. You again, to Rymar's point, this is a new way of working. So you want to work your way up to this. It's kind of like it's a new skill, but my sense is that this is going to be such a game-changing skill for a lot of folks. You're going to have an army of agents to manage, but also the leverage of an army of agents, and it's going to be wild. So I think that's good on our end. We'll just let that cook and then we'll come back.
Yeah, Sean Willis, what's up, Sean? Y'all have the best job in the world. Yes, I uh, cannot disagree with you there.
Dude, yeah, man. Up at 2 a.m. just jamming. I'm like, like I gotta go to sleep, man. This is so much fun.
How
Well,
can young builders leverage Replit Agent to build and validate business prototype quickly without getting stuck in deep coding? You're watching it. Go back to the beginning of the stream and just watch. Manny just, uh, stream of consciousness, opened up the prompt, built the basis of an app. He had an idea for something he'd built before, so he's demoed this before. So we're kind of rebuilding something that he's thought about. But you just take that idea, break it down into some kind of tangible thing that you can feed the agent, and then instead of validate a business prototype, go get an actual working early version of the product and start validating that. And you don't have to worry about deep coding. Like how many times today have you looked at the code?
none.
Exactly. Right. So like you don't have to. You just got to get to it.
And how many technical terms did we use? Almost zero. The only thing that you mentioned was bouncing, right? Like bouncing the
The
form,
debouncing, right?
the
Yep.
debouncing thing. Okay, that's we could have, but you could have just described that, like,
Yeah, and
oh,
you
like
could have just
a
said,
glitchy.
"Hey, the form's getting stuck when I type in it," and the agent would have said, "Oh, we need to debounce the form." So again, all you need to do is describe the problem, and the more technical you are, you still have an advantage, right? So I'm not going to lie
Right,
to you and say that
right.
not like knowing technical stuff will not help, but you don't have to have that, and it's not going to be a critical limiter. It is going to, like you will start to open up the ceiling the more research you do, but the best way to do that is to start building something, and then as you hit your wall or hit your head against something, then you start researching that specific thing, and then you learn how to talk to the agent about how to get it done, right? And you can do that again by talking through it with the agent.
And as we're talking, I got 2 tasks here that are ready to
Ooh, let's
apply.
fix the form glitch and let's go test it again. Let's create some bigger pads.
That's working. Do you think it's good to just apply right
I
now and
I
queue it
like
up?
to, especially something like this, the paywall. I might click review here, and I might go see the chain of thought, right? So I might like just look and see like what did it actually do.
Mhm.
So it actually described a little bit the task description there. Um, yeah, see that. This says bundled. Okay, why? Da, da, da. Some of this is code. Some of this is heavy. So like we're dabbling with maybe looking at some code. Now we officially can't say we have not looked at code. There's code.
But I'm not making any sense of this, dude. I'm just gonna apply to
No,
me.
yeah, apply it. Well, what I usually like to look at is ready for review. What it says here: attendees join free. The paywall gates from pod, so you can kind of see that
Yes.
that yeah, that's what I'm typically looking for. And then if you could get to I think maybe you're zoomed in a little bit. If you can get to the back, behind that, like click the X button here.
But that's not gonna
No,
discard my okay.
nope. Okay, so you see it says review now, so you can still read here now. And
Mm,
what I like to do sometimes is I like to read the last little bit of these chains of thoughts just to
mm,
understand where it finished, right?
mhm.
So I don't necessarily like get too deep into it, but then you can click that review now, and it'll take you back to where you were, and then you can
Nice.
just apply those if you want.
Let's do it.
Yep. So
Okay.
again, there's different levels of people.
Mhm,
Sometimes people like to dig in and read all the chain of thought and really learn from the agent. Sometimes people like to be pure vibes and just send it. When you're dealing with something like that, that's like a Stripe integration, a paywall, what I would probably go do now is I would go to the app, I would click the preview, and I would do a lot of testing right now. Before I integrated anything else, before I started like adding anything
mm,
else to the app, I would make sure that did this actually work? Did it do what I want? Because I don't want to think now that my Stripe payments are all set up and then I start throwing all these other features at it, and then I go back and find out something about the Stripe setup wasn't set up okay, and now I don't know where my failures are coming from. So this is
mm.
a real good point to say, like, anytime I add a major feature like this or integrate something like this, you really want to go through and do robust testing now. So that's what I would say is like pause at this moment. You can still have the agent doing all the other stuff in the background, which is beautiful about parallel tasks because that's not touching any of the merged code now. And so
Mhm.
now we go into the main, we go and maybe we even deploy this, we do whatever we need to do to test and make sure those features are robust. And then from there, we can start merging some of these other things. And that's how you make sure that you have a really robust development flow where you're not just throwing 10 of these features at it at once. And then you have no idea which one of them broke it or caused the problem you're looking at. You create a nightmare for yourself troubleshooting down the road.
Spot on. That's a great tip. Question, Reimer. If I say I don't want to apply this right now, and I just say cancel, what's the best way to or archive it or discard it so like I still
Um,
have it, but not
I
right now?
know. From here, I don't think you can archive it. From here, I think you can only cancel and apply. What I'm not sure is if you can reopen a canceled task from your board. So
Mm,
maybe let's go through that. Find one
let's
that you're
test it.
okay with canceling.
Yeah, this pod selfie share card.
Yep.
I It's a cool feature. We can cancel it. Okay, so let me
Yeah,
cancel
cancel it,
this.
and then
Cancel task.
open the board. And I think you're gonna see on the right, you'll see canceled, and there is a way to archive them, but I don't. Yeah, click canceled and see if you can just like reactivate one of those. What happens if you like on the right little? No. Go back to where you were on the board. Just reopen the board on the canceled. Reopen your canceled tasks, and then on the action menu on the right, see what options you got there.
Rename.
Just rename. Yeah, it'd be cool if you could, archive or unarchive.
So I get okay. So yeah, so it just
It's,
takes me to the cancel plan, but no option
yeah,
to
there's no agent
reactivate.
chat to reactivate it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that's probably on the roadmap. I expect it to be on there like in 2 weeks or so. We're gonna come back in 2 weeks and be like, oh, remember that thing? Like, yeah. And I don't think we even have to tell them. It's probably on the roadmap. Okay, cool. So we're back in Maine, and the things that we have pushed are, let's see here, what's done. Okay, cool. So done. The paywall should be up. The form should be fixed, and we're still working on this. That's fine. I think we're okay right now. And so I think we can do another round of testing. Let me create an event. So if I do one, two, wait, maybe can I have people scan this and they can jump in there and join the event?
We could drop the link, and if you want to drop it in the private chat, I'll drop it in the YouTube, and we can.
And it's just the link to, it's just a dev URL,
It's the
right?
dev server, so it'll just be alive while you have the dev server running.
All right, perfect.
So let's
And
see. I'm gonna
then
drop this.
I guess we want people to join an event that I start. So if I, oh, no. Okay. No, I can host an event. And then,
Oh, that's not maybe we shared the wrong link. Hang on. We'll share the event link here that Manny will give. So just disregard the link we just shared because that's the main app link.
gotcha.
Once you get your
Podcast.
event link, we'll ooh. And
Create event.
it's gonna maybe limit it to the first 25 people to join, huh? Oh, what happened
No, I
here?
don't think
Oh,
so. Testing 1, pod size 4, pricing. Is it because I'm not in the free tier?
pricing free for up to 25.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Okay,
there it is.
cool.
Okay. Yeah, drop
Okay,
that link.
so let me drop this link in here. And also you can scan this. Everybody can scan this. So let me drop in there. And then the other thing might be like we can make that link much prettier for sharing. But it's dev URL, so it's not that bad.
Well, if you go to your event gave you a like display view.
Open screen display.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is. That's nice. I didn't even ask for that, dude. That's
See?
great. Thank you.
I'm in. Hang tight. Pods forming soon.
Okay.
And the form filled out, so the form played nice.
Okay, good. That got fixed. And so give myself a little bit more real estate here. And so you can also envision like adding more features here as like me as an organizer. Might want to see like exactly who signed up, like their names, their details, who's actually in the form filling it out. So who's in queue filling it out. And then like I might want to like have an option to add late attendees because that's what happened to me at one of the events where like there were people that joined late and I had to add them. So there's a whole bunch of other things that I can put in here. So we have 8 here. Let's go. Look at top interest here. Scaling things, AI, all of it, oil and gas, financial, AI, finance. Cool.
I could see something, when you create the event, maybe Manny, you could create the buckets already for people to join in. That would be
Just adding them, slotting them.
That way, like people pick because right now everyone kind of like typed their own thing. So I could see where like maybe you have a specific like, hey, we're going to have an AI group, we're going to have a vibe code group, we're going to have a marketing group, we're going to have a strategy group, and that way everyone just kind of picks what bucket they want to be in. Or maybe you just don't even pick the buckets and you say, hey, we're going to auto rotate. So you're going to get shuffled into one of these groups, and then Manny, whenever you're ready, you click the button and it just shuffles people into new pod, and they just swap around.
Banger, dude.
It's
Dude, you
almost like a
dropping
speed
bangers,
networking thing.
bro.
Listen, people don't understand my product, like my creative mind mixed with the digital product is like why I love and thrive in this space. Because as I see things like this and as I think, like, it's of course, like I love thinking about products and um reviewing things like this. Go ahead.
I love that idea. One other idea that I'll throw out there is having activities per pod. So one example of this that I built is like you're in a pod and you have 6 things you have to do together as a team. You've got to find a vendor, take a selfie with them. You've got to find this other thing and do an activity. And then as you progress through the event, you check things off on your application. And at the end, it gives like everybody an update of what they did. And also it tells the organizer where the groups are across different stages. That's
Yeah.
key. The other thing that I just didn't appreciate is that, again, I didn't need username and passwords for any of this. And I asked the agent about this, and I guess there's like it gives a unique ID to every device. So even if you were to log off your browser right now on this app, you'd go back to the same link, and it would automatically know, oh, this is Jenny logging in from this particular device. No login required, and it kept track of all of their progress even after they got out of the app, which to me is kind
Yeah,
of
and that's
magical,
probably
dude.
using some kind of like in-browser cookie or some kind of IP address or some kind of MAC address. Your device has a couple unique identifiers in the browser that it like could be used for this. So let's maybe kick off the pods, right? There's a bunch of people in there,
Okay, so now I'm forming my
and
pods. Let's see.
let's do this real quick, and let's Manny, let's bring your screen share into. Let's see what happens if we do this. Swoop. We've never
Oh
tried
wait,
with this
sorry.
many people on the. Are y'all in the pods or what?
We're hanging tight.
If you're not participating, let's bring it into the
Okay.
game. There you go.
All right, so we're gonna reveal the pods. The other thing that I can add is like a countdown, like your pod's gonna be revealed in 10, 9. Okay, so we'll do that later. But then I also want you to drop in the chat what your pod name is. Yeah, what's your pod name? Reveal the pods. The pods are live.
Trying to see which way can get us the best little setup. There we go.
Ooh. So we've got AI Launchpad. Okay. Manuel, Raymmar, Evan.
Hey,
What's up? Beauty signals. Ooh, easy E. Gotta put them in the beauty signals. And then the other thing that would be cool is like if I click into one of these profiles, it shows me what they inputted into their form. Career finance, Ruth. Okay, cool. All these folks here. Tosh, what's up? Scale builders, let's go.
if you've ever
Uncle
been at an
Fatty.
event and tried to organize people or get them to go into groups and done like okay, everybody count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2,
Oh my
3,
gosh.
4. It's like, and then
That's
you're like, get to
kindergarten
the
stuff.
point. Yeah, and then you get to the point, you're like, fuck, what was my number? Because you like turn to somebody and you're like, why? You like start saying hi to somebody, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna go over here because all my friends are in this group, and they're like, whatever, right? And so as an event organizer, this is a real hurdle that is like interestingly being solved just on the fly here by something that I could easily see event organizers, throwing a couple bucks a month at or a year at just to have something like this. What are y'all thinking? Anybody in the crowd got ideas for us? Anybody, any of our pro perk attendees? And if you're just watching, the folks on screen are coming. They've been invited through Discord. Tan, we're going to go to you first, actually, because you haven't said anything yet. But yeah, we're experimenting with just bringing folks in and kind of just, I don't know, doing a little more collaborative and immersive type streams. So Tan, what say you?
I hope you can hear me.
Yep.
Yeah, great. So this seems great. It reminds me of the breakout rooms in Zoom.
Yeah.
If anyone used that.
Much more fun though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see the use cases as well. So I'm pretty excited about Podmatch. So
what are you building or trying to monetize yourself? I see Omniscient AI. What's your go to market strategy here?
Yeah. So we are basically building AI-powered fact-checking tool for journalists and newsrooms. And our go-to-market strategy is just slow, doing things that don't scale, going to journalists, going to newsrooms, giving out free access, getting them to use our product. Our personally, our biggest hurdle is once you use it, you can understand the value, but getting them to use it for the first time is our problem. And that's what I'm trying
That
to
is
sort of.
the
Mm.
problem.
Yeah,
T- uh, 10, I think, two thoughts. One is I think in general, you want to go after a growing market. And my sense is that journalism is not necessarily a growing market. Unless you go after some of like more like the freelance, like YouTube journalists that are out there that are really growing. So that's just one consideration is like, if you're in like in a downward market, if you win, still like kind of tough. Two, the other question I would have in terms of like, okay, like getting to use it, like tell me what is the number one pain point that you're relieving to me as a journalist? Like what, like where am I going to lose if I don't have your service?
got it. Absolutely. So, as Raymer always said it, this product is made out of us dog fooding it. I also own a news startup, and people just said, "How do we trust you?" Right? So I was like, "Okay, why don't I display how much of my content is fact and how much of it is opinion, and then you make your own mind, right?" So it doesn't need to be journalists; it can be any content creator, but we're just telling you how much of the content is fact and how much is opinion, and then you make your own mind.
Okay, but where again, if I'm a journalist, why does that matter to me?
It matters to your audience, not to you as a journalist.
It
Gotcha.
matters to me as a journalist if I'm the one you're asking me to pay you.
Exactly. Who I guess who's paying for the service? The journalism, the media outlet, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And then who decides what truth is? That's the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, also like audiences, do they really care about the facts? Like, no, there's this kind of this concept that audiences in many cases want to get confirmation bias on their thinking. This is why you have left and right media outlets. So it may be that the audience doesn't really want the facts; they just want to be like told a certain angle and narrative, and these media outfits are fixing that. So I guess I think it's
About to get
still like.
Rymar on his soapbox, y'all.
Woo, here goes Rymar. Oh, dang. I got him going, dude. So I think 10, I think the big question would be like, and I didn't hear this. Like, I would love to really hear like, what is like, where are they going to lose money or lose like reputation? Like, or what's a tangible example? Like, oh, this person shipped a story and it crushed their business. Like they got covered by other media. Okay, one. And then also two, who cares about that in the organization? Because it may not be the journalist. Your best option might be to go after legal that is afraid of getting sued. It's going on right now. So like you might go to them like, hey, there's some news outlets are getting sued for millions of dollars. Wouldn't you like this, as a service so that you minimize that cost? And it's only going to cost you $10,000. That's a deal.
But if I can sort of add to that, Manny, they're already doing it. The difference between us and what they're currently doing, they take like 3 to 4 hours to manually do it. With our product, they can do it in 60 seconds. So news houses like DW News, CNBC, Al Jazeera, they're already doing it. It's not like would they do it? They are already doing it. We're just making it faster.
Gotcha.
Sure. Great. If you're not familiar with ground news, it's a great outlet for this type of thing where they kind of take in all of these different media sources and they show you here's what's being covered on one side, here's what's being covered on the other side, here's what you're missing if you have this kind of political ideology, here's where these sources fall across the spectrum. And so people are doing things like this. It is a need. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's a big problem to tackle, and it is going to be very important as we move forward.
Can I add just one last thing? So
Sure, of course.
before this call, I randomly fact checked Replit's news. So Replit has a news section. You
Oh, here
actually
we
have an
go.
you have,
Here
Man,
comes
about
the
to
real
get
alpha,
big.
y'all.
you have a 99% accuracy. Fact.
Let's
Oh, let's
go.
go.
Bullhorn, please. 99% accurate, bro. We need it, man. Good. Awesome. Great. Well, actually, 10, I think that would be a great lead generation for you. Send an email like, hey, we just ran a scan of your site. You're scoring at 80%. Here are the stories that are bringing your overall score down. Here's how our software could work. Would you like to have a conversation? I think that
Sure.
would
That
land. And
that
that's more scalable than you like going out to folks. So just a thought. Cool. Who have we heard from? Hunter. I don't think we've heard from Hunter. Dude, what's going on? Dude, finally
Good.
on. Finally got a stable Wi-Fi. Here,
Yeah,
tell us
for the
about
most
yourself. What
part.
are you building? What are you doing? What are you thinking?
Right now with High and Five, I got I'm starting a group called the Entrepreneurs Collective. I'm starting to do every Sunday doing a live speed networking event where you kind of move in and out every 5 minutes, talk to new entrepreneurs, see what they're doing, kind of get through that. But
Remind us of High Five. What is High Five?
High and Five is basically human to human collaboration where, I mean, you go to ChatGPT, you go to Claude for answers. When you want clarity, you want to talk to a person. So that's what High and Five is. It's a virtual video connection to where you can brainstorm, uh, come up with quick decisions, just, get clarity with another person.
Yeah, and it's very similar to your type of thing, Manny, where like you split people up into groups, except for it has kind of live rooms that get connected. So people can kind of actually connect and
Mhm.
do video chatting directly in the app that Hunter's building. And this was one of the build-a-thon submissions and also one of the winners. I think everybody up here except for Tan has actually, you know, I don't know what that means about you, Tan. You better get it together. You better go win a build-a-thon or something. But yeah, everyone else up here is a prior, at least weekly, if not grand prize winner from one of the build-a-thons.
The former champs have returned. Hunter, let me ask you a question. What's like the biggest wow moment like that you've seen people using your service?
Biggest wow moment probably was in the start when Raymar did it on an office hour and he just got extremely excited. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm on to something. I don't know. And then just kind of got feedback all the way around. It's just anytime somebody uses it, they like it. So I like that
Let's
aspect, but sometimes
What
it's
do
just
they
getting
like?
them on
What's they
there.
like about it? Tell us more about that.
hang on one second. Let me set the scene up just a bit, right? Because
Tell
I
us
think
more.
it'll be helpful for people to understand like why getting involved in the community and in these build-a-thons is like super valuable. Because Hunter was submitting this, and I think this was the Agent 4 build-a-thon, right? And I didn't really understand the name or the kind of the concept, but then when I saw the demo in the Discord like Hangout, and I was like, oh, this is super cool, and it allowed basically people to break out into rooms and kind of connect. And the idea was, hey, if you need help, jump in here and I'll answer your support request. And so I thought it was super dope. But the UI left a little bit to be desired, and the functionality, like the usability of it, was like, I'm not sure this is it. And so I asked Hunter, I reached out after, I said, hey, do you mind if I remix this and kind of just tinker with this a little bit? And so I then remixed the project, took an hour or two and kind of put the little Ray special on it, and then sent it back to Hunter and said, hey, here's how I kind of see some of this stuff. And then Hunter, to his credit, took all of the feedback, not just from my session, but from the Discord, and really started getting involved with other builders in the Build-a-thon community, and then started testing this thing and started actually putting it to work and hosting little workshops. And then you slowly just started seeing this thing refine and come to life. And now Hunter has like a really solid, usable thing. I'd be interested to know, like, what are you doing next? And how are you thinking about monetizing it? And like, how has that journey been from that experience kind of to this point? Sorry, Manny, I didn't mean to jump in your question there, but I kind of wanted to set the scene because I think it's so valuable to get this kind of feedback. And it just goes to show, like, get something out there, get people using it, and then go through that iteration cycle. And then who knows where you end up from there. Anyway, so yeah, Hunter.
And Hunter, over to you,
Look,
dude.
he's just like, oh no,
He's
did we
one of the
lose him?
pros.
Oh man.
I can step in for Hunter if he's maybe having some difficulty.
Yeah. If anybody else has thoughts about that, we'll see if we can get Hunter back on as his internet comes back through here.
I mean, you've got to get involved in the Discord if you're a part of this Replit community. If you were a part of the Agent 4 Build-a-thon, you saw Hunter's pitch live, and you saw the excitement come in that moment and in the following weeks. And if you see how he's been active in reaching out to other builders as well, it's allowed him to grow the platform and allow others to also get feedback on their stuff. And so there we go, my man Hunter's back.
Can I chime in as well? I thought it was a brilliant idea, and I loved it, and I thought that it would be such a great thing to have lots of different vertical slices. Like, you could have some people offering consultancy. You could have people trying to make a pen pal, in another country. There's so many different ways you could use it. It was such a cool concept that could be repurposed in so many different ways. I think there's endless possibilities with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to get at, and again for you, Tan as well. Like I keep thinking, like I think you need like a wow moment or feature, because my sense is that you typically have like 10 seconds to make an impression on someone, and you want to be able to convey that right away. And so for me, like if I think about my app that I'm building right now, is like if you're an organizer, stop having boring starts to your large events that are going to make you look bad. Have a fun start. And then I can back that up with visuals, like, oh, look at this video of like people like having so much fun. And then I can create contrast, like, oh, this is your event with my app, fun, energy, fun, cool. And this is your event without my app, all boring, dry, like everybody down, everybody on their laptops, right? That. And so I'm already starting to think like, oh, that's the contrast that I'm going to be making for folks when I go and pitch that. So, I didn't hear this from Hunter, Tan. I didn't really hear this from you. So I guess for everybody out there, I'd ask you that question, like, what is that massive wow, like either like cool feature that just going to knock somebody off their feet, or like, what is that major pain point that you're solving where like they gotta solve it or they're gonna lose money?
Yeah. All right, we got a new person too here.
Hey, Varun, what's up, dude?
Hi guys. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Finally I collect. I mean, thank you so much for inviting me. I've been using Replit since last year, and it's been a crazy journey. I'm from oil and gas, 25 years experience, zero coding experience. And when I started using it, it's just crazy. I mean, there's a funny story. Oops.
You're on the main stage. You're good.
Okay.
Just keep going, dude. Made you larger, dude.
So the funny story is, I mean, well, Buildathon 4 was happening. I was participating, and suddenly my sewage pipe broke. And the guy comes in. I can't do anything. It's emergency. He says, I'm in Netherlands, so he says 1,600 euros. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, but it's an emergency. And while the guy is working and he gives me his business card, I open his website. It's pretty shit. I create a website on Replit in 1 hour. He was working, sold it to him for 1,600 euros.
Let's
That's
go.
crazy. And he's now my client. So, and I built full backend for him. Like, from his invoicing is automated. He used to go home and then write his reports. And now he just clicks pictures, speaks on his phone with AI, and that's it. Boom, his report is done there and then. And his offers is automated. His safety is automated. And right now, what I'm building is pretty crazy. It's like a company took 10 years to build what I built in 1 month right now.
Like the Uno reverse card in real time.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I've built a cosmetic ingredient scanner. It's got like a database right now, 33,000 ingredients. So you just scan it. It gives you a verdict in less than 5 seconds. That's the point. So it gives you like A, B, C, D, the gradient, how much safe ingredient it's got an encyclopedia behind it. So if you open Tattva.beauty, and it will just blow your mind. The UI will blow your mind right now. And today, I sold a guy, he's my customer, but I sold a guy how to run his business on WhatsApp. So it's a QR code. People scan on his WhatsApp, it's pinned it, they scan it, his menu comes up, 1-page menu, add it, they get a WhatsApp order, and that's it. They order it from there, they get the delivery real-time updates from the WhatsApp. The guy is just clicking, okay, I'm sending you food, that's it. And it's just crazy. Replit is crazy, I can tell you that.
Tell us a little bit more about how you're monetizing. You said, so you mentioned the first example, you just sold it to them for a flat fee. What about these other examples? Are you just doing that as well? Like, or you're
that's why it's not yet monetized, because I think I'm a full-time, to be honest, I'm in a full-time job. So there is requirements from legal perspective that you cannot open a company. So right now I'm looking for partners in India because this is a big app where I'm monetizing the 3 strategies. I've built a pro dashboard in which people can then scan their family apps, their cosmetics, they make a shelf out of it, and then they put the expiry dates. It alerts you what cosmetic suits your skin or not, what is the expiry when it is expiring, and then they get a free access to a chat agent, which has been, it's a Hermes agent, which has been trained on a lot of cosmetics data so they can get answers to the questions. And then there is a long-term strategy of brand endorsement that their products are safe. And then once my database hits 50,000, I'm going to open the API and let people build whatever from my database and just pay for the API. So that's the long-term goal. But it's difficult with marketing. I'm really zero. So I tried to tweet you guys to attract, or X. I have 0 followers, 0 people. So it's just really difficult to grab attention. But
don't worry about getting our attention. We're not your buyer. You got to find get the attention of somebody's going to pay you.
There's another story that in the Build-a-thon, when you were like, everybody was trying to get reviews, they were not getting reviewed. I made in 3 hours, I was sleeping and I was frustrated. I'm not getting any reviews. I made an app. It's called the-roasters.replit.app. And you just put in your website. And I originally had you, Manny, and Raymmar as your icons, and they will judge your product and give you a real-time score, and they give you like a Pokemon card. So it's based, right now it's even got security. So if you go there, I've added like Fortune 500 battles. So you can roast Fortune 500 companies for free, let them go against each other, and they just blow with 2 Replit card scores. So I'm pretty invested in Replit potential. It's just
this is Replit maxing here. This is what we're
super fan over here. I love it.
When you had the agent free for 24 hours, I built 10 apps in that time, and all 10 of them are like superior to each other. So it's like I built a SaaS for handymans. They can just go in and automate their whole workflow. A SaaS for restaurant people, a SaaS for authors. So I made a video out of it in YouTube. It's got no words, probably got a couple of thousand views, but it just didn't get traction. But I'm bad at social media, so I really don't know. But the stuff is crazy. I mean, I am now.
Varun, we're gonna pause you there. Thank you. We appreciate you sharing, and we obviously see your excitement.
Dude, let's go. I love the energy, dude.
Sorry, guys, but first time on YouTube. Thank you.
I know, the long time listener, first time caller.
Awesome, dude. Great. What do you want to do now,
Raymmar? I mean, do we need to check in on the agent? Do we need to see where we ended up with?
I think I have agent cooking on something right now, but I do have some breaking news for folks if people want to check this out. Okay, so let's go here, and then let's go here. And
this is what I think is about to be so lit.
Big news, folks. We now have a Shopify integration. Check this out.
Bro, you're not screen sharing the right screen, by the way.
About my new Shopify store. Mandy here with Replit, and you got to check out my new Shopify store. Custom branding, custom built, and it's live taking payments. This is built with our new Shopify integration in Replit. Let me show you how to get started. I'm going to head over to Agent. I'm going to drop this prompt here. I'm asking Agent to, I don't know if we have to watch the whole thing, but yet we now have an official Shopify integration that's available in Replit. I've been playing around with it this past week. Really, really cool. I'm new to Shopify, Raymmar, but I know you're a big fan, but I can see the potential. Maybe tell us a little bit about Shopify and why this is so important.
Bro. I don't, yeah. So Shopify is the preeminent e-commerce platform on the market. They make up about 3% of all published websites that run a CMS. And I don't just mean e-commerce stores. I mean like all websites on the internet. You know, like they are the CMS. They are the biggest CMS of record that powers e-commerce online. And they have their own programming language. For a long time, they have this liquid programming language that lets you kind of build custom stores and toolings and different things inside of Shopify, but it's its own ecosystem. It's its own world in and of itself. And so having the ability to kind of take your Shopify data, integrate with Shopify payment platforms, with their fulfillment tools, with all of their different integrations and upsell services, and then be able to have the agent work on this stuff is a major unlock. Like, I'm not sure people understand the actual potential here to be able to take a platform that is as robust as Shopify and then be able to give the agent the ability to kind of build the front end, integrate with that seamlessly, all things that you could kind of do up until this point with custom code, but it's very expensive. I know people who are charging $50,000, $100,000 for a custom Shopify theme. To be able to do this with the agent, to be able to build some of these things with the agent is a absolute game changer here. If you know anything about Shopify, you know that this is a serious like potential here.
Totally. And the way that, I was framing it was like, listen, Shopify is best in class in terms of managing the backend for physical products. So they're going to manage your inventory. They're going to take payments. They're going to help you do resolutions, all that stuff. So you still want to keep that on Shopify, but you want something that's custom and particular and tailored to you and your business. And you don't want to have to slot into some cookie cutter forms that take you forever to configure exactly for your business. You just go to Replit. I just dropped in a simple prompt and I got like everything that I needed: the copy, the visuals, the inventory, the ability to make purchases on that website. And it's like exactly what I want, and I can customize it, and it's still leveraging the back end of Shopify.
Yeah. I mean, Shopify's so good. Their one click, their shop payment, the order tracking, the order fulfillment, the drop shipping stuff that you can get with Shopify, like all of these features here. Shout out to Angelina. By the way, Angelina, I found your little note. She was in the office the other day and left me this nice little note on my desk. So I wanted to give you just a little shout out and thank you for greeting me into the Bay Area. But yeah, they integrate easily with social media for direct sales from social content. So the integrations with native feeds, the stuff you can, the places you can pipe out your Shopify products. And so again, to let Shopify kind of be like your headless e-commerce backend and integrate all that functionality into a new Replit app or project, or to build functionality inside of this is, I don't know what the extent of the integration is, but yeah, big deal. And then what's that? Go to that link, Manny. Maybe just go to the actual the Replit link. Go down one more tweet and actually click on that. Yeah, that one. There you go. What does it have any other details about what we can do with this, or?
It's pretty much you customize your
Right.
brand, leverage all like the back end of Shopify. That's the big one. What I'm pretty excited about, Mandy here with Replit, and you got okay, is this part, Rymar, because so the task was build a demo app. Okay, I did that. That was pretty straightforward. But then I started getting all these other ideas in terms of like how I might start scaling my business. And so in Canvas, I started putting together all these different assets. So first thing I did is I built a mobile app. Then I did some social media posts. And then I did a launch video. Then I did a rewards portal. So this is the stuff that I had pixelated earlier this week. I couldn't share. And so I don't know. I was just like getting so many ideas. Like, man, like, dude, like I could have like 10, 15 different like customer facing applications, internal facing tools, all in one project. It's all synced to my Shopify store. And the cool thing about this connected to Shopify is that agent is going to be able to go into Shopify's backend and pull in all of the relevant information from my store and have that as context, or pull it when it's needed. And then I also started thinking like, well, I could also generate sales report that way as well. So at the end of the quarter, I might say like, oh, agent, go and grab the last 3 months of transactions. Tell us like how we're growing, what are the returns, what do people love, all that. Run like a detailed report and just generate that report for me so that I have that to share with my employees or my stakeholders or my investors. And this is when I started just getting like so excited about like where things are going, because I think you're gonna have this giant mono project with all these different nodes to look at, and just like everything being just one prompt away.
Yeah. Um, I I'm having a hard time thinking right now because I've been like dreaming about an e-commerce store for a while. but I don't really love dealing with Shopify themes. Some of y'all don't know this, but before I came into the world of Replit, I was very big in the Webflow world and also playing in the Shopify space. So I am closely, adjacent to the Shopify world. And I've built a number of stores for clients. Like I used to do this professionally, build themes in Webflow and then transfer them into Shopify. And I can tell you that the experience is incredibly difficult. Building with Liquid, Shopify's language, is not crazy hard, but again, you have to know it, and it requires deep technical knowledge for how to integrate and do this thing effectively. So as Replit kind of abstracts some of these technical complexities and starts integrating these other products, this is what we talk about the infrastructure being so good at Replit, is being able to do these types of things. You saw how easy it is to connect Stripe. You see how easy all these other connectors are that you can use inside of Replit. And now the ability to build out e-commerce stores, as we talk about making money and monetizing your products. And, you think about all the people that are out there building and doing things. Yes. Like, do you still have to have a Shopify monthly plan? Of course. Come on. You're using the underlying technology. Like, we're not giving you anything for free here. Of course, you have to have all the tools, like in every instance. We're just giving you new ways to access the tools. So yes, of course. And don't come crying to me about you have to spend some bucks to get the agent to build with this. I dare you to go talk to a Shopify developer. Like, I don't ever want to hear it in the chat. I don't want to hear anybody in the chat talk about what you're spending on the agent if you're building a custom e-commerce store. I dare you. Just go ask anybody. They won't even talk to you for less than $50,000 for a custom Shopify store, a theme. You can go get nice templates for free for Shopify, for sure. Do that. But go into the agent, and I don't know. You're going to see me tinker with this for sure. I will for sure have. Sorry, I'm out of focus here. I will for sure be playing with this. I'm incredibly excited to go in and tinker with this.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that comes to mind too is that, and I've been seeing like certain videos out there to keep talking about Shopify vibe coding, and you mentioned themes. I think also like other folks mentioned internal tools like to help you manage your store better. So I can see someone going
All
out,
sorts of things.
right? I'm going to help you optimize this part of your store, or I'm going to help you like re-engage certain past users and customers. I think I think there's going to be like a ton of money to be made here,
Yeah.
dude.
No, that's why I say I don't know how deep this integrates, but a lot of what people make money on in Shopify is not just custom themes, but those custom themes then have little widgets or little like embeddable objects, plugins type things. And so if you can build plugins with this, I don't know if that's like in the first version of this. So I'm gonna, trust me, I'll be diving deep into this, and you can expect we will be doing a live, thorough deep dive on building something with Stripe I'm not Stripe, on Shopify very, very soon here. But yeah, there are, like Manny said, a unlimited surface amount of surface area here to potentially monetize through Shopify and Replit. Yeah, and Shopify, look, somebody's saying it right here. You can basically sell anything easily, or even build your own eBay for $29 a month. I think if you go into the big plans, it's like you can get into $129 a month for Shopify, or like you pay it annually, it's like $1,000. But you sell a couple products a month and you're in. And again,
Right,
it's a little investing in yourself if you're really going to try to make money at this. Don't think you're going to go out here and start making a bunch of money without a little bit of investment in yourself and the stuff you're building.
I also wanted to mention that tomorrow I'm gonna have the PM for this feature on the live stream. We're gonna start the live stream going all in on Shopify. So Raymmar, I think you're supposed to be there. So like I think you maybe stick around for that if you can. Otherwise, send me your questions so you can.
Oh
yes. Like
yes.
you being the pro, I'd love for you to go deep with this guy. And then I think we're also thinking about doing a deep dive session with Raymmar on this. I'm sure I'm gonna learn a lot there. And then I'm also going to try to get someone from the Shopify team on as well. We've done that in the past with other big integrations like Stripe, Databricks. We want their folks to come on and tell us all about what they're doing and answer all your questions. So just expect to see more content around this. And again, this is like more just indication of like how Replit is locked in on monetizing your apps and helping you make money. That is kind of like one of our North Star that's starting to merge is like, what is the value that we provide to people? Yeah, you can build all these apps. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we want you to make money and want to make that as easy as possible.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100%. This is, and I think it just speaks to, I mean, the type of connectors and integrations and things that we keep seeing coming out on a weekly basis. What was it? Microsoft Fabric earlier this week also. Just, I mean, just the Databricks thing alone, the Snowflake connections, the BigQuery connectors, like all of these different things are becoming the primitives for the next layer of invention, which we keep talking about is coming through this vibe code space. These become enterprise grade Rails. People trust Shopify. Nobody's ever scared anymore. Like 5, 10 years ago, people were kind of scared sometimes to like make a purchase online. Now I trust, the one-click shop pay. That's like a trust signal in the e-commerce space. And so those are enterprise grade, secure. Everything's kind of like it works nicely. And so now I can build on that with that extra reliability. I don't have to worry about building the connectors and doing all these other things. Replit can kind of handle, and now I can just look at what's my front end like? What is my marketing approach like? What is the experience for my user on this store? And how can I customize that in a way that's beautiful for me without having to go spend $50,000 or $100,000 on a custom theme, right? And so again, I have all the security that comes with these underlying connections and integrations, but then I get the freedom to build all around and inside of that. Whoo, child, come on with it.
It's going to be big. It's going to be big.
Big, big.
Okay. Dude, 2 hours went by super fast. Tell us, what did you think of this stream? This was a newer concept for us. We're testing it out. What did you like about it? What could we do better? Should we even do this again? Well, was this helpful to all of you? Drop it in the chat. We'll read it.
The other question is, should we do anything other than this, right? Like, should this just be like daily we're building something, like we're just coming in and we're just like always trying to build, bring people in from the community, monetize, like what would you all like to see as that type of thing, or as these streams evolve, like topics? Obviously you could see us experimenting with formats, so we've got deep dives, we've got showcases. Now we've got this more like interactive-y kind of like monetization type thing. Manny's experimenting with some of the enterprise folks and doing kind of smaller enterprise level conversation, or I'm sorry, like specific things. So yeah, like I think you're going to really see us double down. We brought in a bunch of folks from the background that we can still see. Let's see who's still back there. What's up, everybody? So we'll get better at like trying to figure out how do we bring folks in from behind the scenes. And yeah, I don't know. Just again, all of these comments are being ingested. I know we don't always get to reply to everyone. We wish we could chat with all of you one-on-one, but like we're really trying to figure out, what's the next iteration of this as we evolve. So share your thoughts. I know Manny and I both, we go through these all the time in depth after the streams. And then as a group, we really share top insights, and we try to figure out like, how do we just keep improving these products? And so hopefully y'all are seeing that week after week, and we will continue to strive to do those things as we go.
Awesome. Yeah, spot on. No, we're just getting started, dude. There's so much. Yeah. And I wouldn't mind doing this. Like, this is so much fun, right? Like, it's actually easier than some of the other shows, right? Where we like have to plan topics and guests and all that. Like here, just show up and build and interact with everybody.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. At a certain point, the speed of this is going to just be one of those things where like, you're just going to know we're here. The thing is on. Come find out what we do, and we'll get better at clipping and pulling out the nuggets that matter to be kind of like pushed out in the appropriate channels, and try to keep everyone kind of tuned in to what we're doing. But like we say regularly, this live stream, live content is really the only format that can keep up with the speed of what's happening here at Replit and in the AI industry generally. And so, yeah, we have big plans and lots of ideas for what to do next, but we would all obviously love to hear from all of you.
Awesome. Okay. Great. Should we wrap then?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We look forward to seeing you on next one. Oh, tomorrow live again, 9 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to be talking about Shopify. We're going to be talking about our new SEO agent. our optimizing agent for your SEO in terms of like getting notice on your application. That's going to be big. And I think we're also going to have a community builder from Race to Revenue, or another one of you folks to come on stage and to chat with us as well. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye all.